you've got one player lurking at A, and he throws the get right, get left smoke from outside Palace, and then they just wait and pause, and nothing happens. And then somebody calls like that. Those smokes were thrown from A. They were definitely thrown from A, but then you go B anyway and you pop. Like, those are just the kinds of things, the kind of mind games that are going to get kind of crazy with this game. So I want to see what they have to bring to the table now with a little bit of time to readjust and reevaluate how this new game is played.
Do it. But for now, it seems rather basic for the pistol. 2 splitting through under, 3 waiting for their push outside A main. And right now, Badass have a decent setup to try and counteract, but still a lot of utility to go through from Mythic as they lure themselves up through underpass. Ooh, this is neat. Double smoke on the right side of the site. And now creeping up Con, you're not going to expect these 2 players coming through for the flank. Truck Lover opening it up well. And one more kill makes this round even more dastardly to try pulling off. Shane, everything to do from triple, but nothing grabs. Truck Lover continues moving forward with the Glock, and it doesn't seem Badass are contending.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to see play out right now. The only hitch that goes for them right now is that Frankie is really low, and being able to get active into this one through CT spawn as they funnel in is not going to be easy, and Truck Lover makes it so. As he makes it apparent, they don't want them whatsoever to be re-entering this bomb site. They play eventually a much more passive setup, leaving the player at the firebox onto his own. So the bomb's doing it all on his own. Finds even another kill despite being in the red. And they find that round with Truck Lover on a triple. What a great way to open that game. And what an interesting strategy you make note of, Anthram.
And it didn't even feel like they needed that extra prong of approach through connector, where what seemed like that round was going to be was they throw the smokes out A, Truck Lover leads the charge, looks for a kill but doesn't die, and then when everybody's distracted on these players running out A main, you have 2 coming up Con, cutting off rotations, killing the stairs players who can now no longer look above the smoke, and you're sandwiching the site with no assistance coming. But they didn't need that. Truck Lover just won them the round.
What?
I just saw Shane try the van jump.
I thought he was just spotting. I thought he was just jump spotting.
No, I think he was going for the van jump.
Either way, though, it's going to be now.
Is that another MP5, dude? What's up with the MP5s?
It might be meta. I don't know. The XM is really good.
We saw a couple of those, right?
Yeah. 2, I'd say, I think. This is the 3rd, probably. Maybe the 4th. But either way, things go low and slow out through mid. The CTs aren't going to be giving any sort of interest in that for the time being. Instead, they're giving up all of that space for the T's to be able to claim and hopefully walk into their crosshairs eventually on their not exactly perfect plan towards A. As if they were to go there, things are going to get a little bit dicey. But towards the B side, things could get interesting, and Frankie kicks it off. P250 down into the ground at the SMG, but it's the AKs they're going to need to be most worried about. Truck Lover already taken down really low.
But this is a B-sided back. Yeah, it's all pistols for the 4 players here, and every distraction in the book. It seems like Mythic have been beating their own game. Cooper flicking around as he finds 2 kills, knowing where Snav is at. He's on low HP. But he goes back into the apartments, tries to reroute. 1 bullet does him in, but the same thing could be said for Snav. No head armor. Cooper holds the line, looking for more spam, but it's Snav who holds it down. It's a full save from Badass Gaming that ties us up early.
That's absolutely disgusting. From the bench there, it's a really hard position to tap away on without there actually being a whole lot of anything going on around the other sides of the site. And as they're not out apps yet, they're funneling right into Dare's crosshair, and he makes those dinks look so easy and clean. Everyone else just cleaning house from then on. He does his work, he does his job, and thankfully by the end of the day, the 1v1 is able to go the way of the CT side after all that work put in. But unfortunately for Team Mythic, their B-side pop not going to be fruitful for them, despite having a crunch all the way up through mid. It's that first player going down from Catwalk that really starts it all off for Badass to have a shot.
Well, Mythic, I'm intrigued as to how they get back into this one. Lover again looking for a pick out A main. Don't jump around too much there, Project 90. I've seen Truck Lover's Deagle. It is not something to toy with, especially with the arguably better Deagle in this game. But Mythic are kind of stuck in purgatory of mid. They don't really know where they want to go with this, it seems. Just waiting for Badass to make the next move or letting the time run down little by little. Flom, a peek's given by Dare, who even feels incentivized to go back in, but no real reason, calls it off as the bomb is recovered, and Mythic make their all-out hoorah play. Going into mid, there's 3 players awaiting Dare's peek. That's a risky one to go for, but 2-on-4 still shows that Mythic are down and out of this one.
All right. Maybe Truck Lover isn't quite done yet, at least. He's got a couple more shots left in him. 6-1.
Back in for Truck Lover. No, he gets a couple on his belt, so it's not an unwinnable round.
Freakazoid, he needs to chime in sooner rather than later. Not gonna be. Truck, what else do you got in the tank, buddy? You filled with diesel? So right now, looks like you're running a little bit low on gas, and a little bit low on time. 15 on is now on the top side of default. Will he be prepared for Project 90's position? Won't really matter. It won't even be he who takes him out. It'll be Snav instead, holding for his cross to the site. Good crossfire set, knowing that he was A-ramp a moment ago. And everybody's ready to get this underway now for the CT side to finally take their lead.
That's not something I thought I'd see this early on. Pause call. Not entirely sure what the issue is, but I do think Freakazoid lagged out or something of the sort. But this shouldn't really be around me discuss much for Mythic. And that does seem pretty good off the rip. Though I will say, it's been a lot more laid back than I'd entirely like to see. Maybe because there's been a lack of resources. We think the first round they win's a full eco, the second's a force, so you don't really want to give too many opportunities away. But thinking about that last round, I think an issue could be mentioned in that Dare peeks right back into mid, dry swings, and nobody flashes for him nothing. So yeah, he gets one, but he also gets traded. A kill that didn't really need to come through is you add one flash to that, he's not getting traded. He's getting one, he's getting away. There's nothing to worry about for Badass Gaming. And I'm not entirely sure if that was an issue of maybe lack of funding or just confidence coming through, but one of them is okay and one of them really isn't. If Badass keep playing with that sort of loose, laid-back style where they're okay with going for these dry swings all the time, that's not going to fly for very much longer, especially when you've got players like Truck Lover already off to the races with 6 kills in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Truck Lover is one of those players that once he gets heating up, once he gets to that level where he's feeling himself individually, that's where the clips start to roll in, baby. That's where you'll see him on his own stream start to hit his stride, and the comms are getting up, the boys are getting hyped, and they're not going to let that one slide. And I don't think that it's going to happen for very long. That they stay down if that is going to be the case. Once that gun round comes in, he's probably going to be the centerpiece to it. And I'm excited to see what they come up with, but a little bit of a technical server issue that will be squared away in only a matter of seconds, and we can hop right back into it now. As already Freakazoid has fallen, Mythic, they're going to take one more round off before they try and make the retribution.
I got a couple of P250s. Also, I just want to say, is it just me or...
Yes.
Is Flom's P250 like one of the best in the region?
Like, just like aim-wise, you mean?
Like hit Flom in a P250.
I don't know. I've actually
I feel like I've seen so many clips on it, and not even just in CS2. I'm talking like internationally.
It's an interesting point. The best player with each gun. There's got to be a video out there somewhere, but right now it's Frankie who's trying to prove himself as the best with the A1S at this point in time, only able to get 2 with that one clip, needing a little bit of support as he reloads under the balcony below. He will get some. Project 90 and Snav both swinging in with no fear. P250 from Flom, there it is. He gets his one, and who else but him? Maybe you're right, man.
I told you, dude. Like,
I'm trying to think. Who else is P250?
P250 is a scary mix.
Who else? I mean, Shroud, Flom.
And Shroud lets them all pass.
1, 2. That's a CZ. But...
That's a CZ. But even when Flom ops, he's usually sidearming a P250. Like, that's usually his weapon.
I mean, that's every opper should be doing that, no? I feel like that was like the common
I see a lot. I see a lot on like Tech 9.
Alu. I remember Alu used to be really good with a P250.
Not much else. I'm kidding. Good start though. Flom, we talked about players like him not really needing an off to find consistent success, and double entry out A goes to show that there were 3 players in window this round from Badass Gaming. Instantly thrusted into a 4-on-2, which I don't think they'll ever really see the bright side of. Now I know it looks like it's a 2-on-2, but HUD is bugged, Freakazoid is alive, and Cooper's getting all this info of the rotations back to B. Freakazoid set up perfectly.
Yeah, this is going to be them walking right into the trap. No way they clear. Wait, oh, I thought Snap might have seen the gun barrel, but Freakazoid taking his time makes it happen, gets both of them, locks out the round, and finds them their one back. Truck Lover, he might not be the superhero, the superstar of that one, but he gets his one, and everybody else follows suit, and that's exactly what you need from the squad. Everybody in tandem coming online at the same moment. And although Freakazoid might be the entry, he is the closer in that round, and that's something you have to look forward to in the rest of the game if that's going to be the case this early on.
But that's not something you were wanting to see if you're Badass Gaming. Another couple of players heating up. Definitely feels a little unforgiving. But still, they've gone without the off. I wonder how long that lasts. Window smoke's late, and Dare picks off Flom for it. Easy 4-on-5. Moving up Cat, Cooper wants to trade it out, but looks the wrong way. And now everybody falls one by one. Badass is set up. Quarantines Mythic. And when they break procedure, they all fall for it. 2-on-5, and this doesn't really feel like a round that you're going to come back into. Truck Lover 86 and Hates. They'll give it a go-ahead. Truck Lover's probably one of the players you would want in this situation. We haven't heard from Hate just yet.
Yeah, I don't really know what you can say in that round other than how it's possible that the players in mid are swinging out before that smoke is popped in the window, right? I mean, it wasn't even just Flom. Yeah. By the time he fired the shot, there were like 3 players in his line of sights. Flom was only the second to have crossed, and the flick adjusts right onto his dome, but from then on, everything just falls like cake. They have all the information that there were that many more players in that area of the map. They've got no reason to play anywhere else too heavy-handedly, and Dare's going to finish it off with 4 actually in the round overall. Absolutely sublime from him. He's going to be pretty happy with himself with his first outing with the gun.
Man, that is, again, not a good start. Badass Gaming, they've got individuals heating up big time. Dare and Frankie already big contenders in this best of 3, and we're only a few rounds in. Now, it just felt, like you said, sloppy from Mythic. Without that window smoke, everything went down the drain, and I'm not sure what the idea was. Maybe because the previous round, when they had gone out mid, they won the duels pretty extravagantly. Yeah. I mean, coming away, 4-on-2 because of the window swing that they went for, so maybe assuming that there would be some respect, but this isn't a team that just gives you respect. You really have to earn it, so maybe a slight miscue, I'm not sure, but I am with you that if they waited maybe an extra 1-2 seconds, that's an entirely different round. You're cutting Dare's line off in mid, and now instead of it being a 3-man firing squad as you're waltzing out one by one, you have timing favoritism as they're isolated in Con and Cat with no uppers support. That could have been a Mythic round had that smoke actually bloomed in time, but again, I couldn't entirely tell you what the idea was.
Yeah, it's a pain to see, and I'm sure that it's even more of a pain to be on the receiving end of probably Flom saying, like, man, either I'm stupid or, like, why was the smoke so late or why wasn't it calm? It's something inside that's got to be a little bit bubbly, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I would have rather lost a one-on-one aim duel at that point. I would have rathered anything other than that. It's kind of like I never got a chance to play into the round, and neither did my team as a result of it. And moving into these next couple of gun rounds, that's something you really have to harken back on as the players on the team. You have to be like, okay, guys, we got all our smokes in check, right? We know our timings. We're spacing properly. That's got to be the thing that's like probably the most fundamentally understood across a team that now has to be kind of drilled into your head in the midst of a game, which is never fun. And that's going to be something that'll probably be eating away at you for the next couple of rounds to come because you already took so long saving that economy to get into that round to show maybe a little bit of your hand. And when it worked the first time, the follow-up kind of puts your back right back where it had to be in order to be pushed back onto a CT side that's already running away with it. MR12, this is going to be a painful pill for them to swallow. And I want to see Dare's AWP get a little bit more active in these next couple of gun rounds as well, because he's the upper that you kind of want to see do that, knowing that he might have the edge economically over them before they can get one in their hands for quite some time.
Now, one thing I just realized is that we're 6 rounds in, and the only things that have worked out for Mythic are A takes. We've not seen too much like around the board, but they go mid, they haven't done well. They went out B, they lost a full eco round. So there is something to be said that right now, they aren't finding success around the map. And minus entries from Truck Lover and Flom, it's been quiet. We haven't seen much beyond that. And usually it's the entries that just go forward to take the round. You think of the pistol, Truck Lover instantly opens with 2 kills. There's extra protocols in place. You weren't winning that round. You think of the second they win, Flom goes out A, finds both site players. You're not winning that round. You're blowing up connector with the entries he got. The rotations are never making it there. But when they went out mid, they either get stuck or they just lose the duels, which has happened a couple of times now. They went out B only the once, sure, but it just wasn't all that.
And that one time was just simply not it.
Right. I mean, you think about the round like that, and what looked like it was supposed to be a cat crunch, the only person that went up cat was Hate on a Mac 10. Everybody else went through apps, which feels a little, I'd say, outlandish, because usually you're probably, splitting 2 or 3 players up cat, having extra support there, because it's easier to take the gunfights. You can support your apps players a lot more by going up, and they didn't use utility in tandem with it either, because by the time they were ready to go out B, Hate loses his duel to Frankie. It's not something you can really rely on. You have to have somebody there to trade him.
Yeah, Mirage is one of those maps where those kinds of things are going to be absolutely punished. There's no fallback. There's no back out and away. There's no regroup and reface. It's kind of just like once you lose that fight, once you lose that space, it's commonality for the CT side to kind of hunker down and be ready for whatever's coming their way. You see Darren immediately rotate back over to Ticket, and he finishes the round from there. Nobody really has to worry about mid. They've got the man advantage. They have the numbers. They can just be aware of Khan and Cat, and from there, it's an easy sweep. And unfortunately, with the remainder of this map, it's going to become only that much more linear for the side of Badass to be able to work through. And I think that once we do switch into that CT side, there is obviously a whole nother half to be played. I am going to be excited to see how they actually work out with their op in the beginning of the game. I want to see if they decide to get either Cooper or Flum really aggressive and up in their face, or if they play a little bit more standard off rip. Because as this one goes into their favor more and more, and Dare becomes more prepared for it, his T-side op is not going to be one you want to just peek into. You're not going to walk around a corner and try and fight him on an expected common angle. You're going to be absolutely scared from him, I would actually say.
Also, remember, too, this half has been rather reserved from Badass so far. We haven't really seen too much aggression. Nobody's peaked apps beyond maybe that one round where I think Shane ended up going on balcony after missing the van jump. We haven't seen anybody peak deep in ramp. We haven't seen much beyond, like, basic swings in mid. So there's going to be this extra layer of problems if Badass go with that in following rounds.
Well, unsure as to what the buy actually is, but I think the HUD in at least the buy respect is accurate. It's an AK for Coop. Everybody else playing with pistols, and now you talk about the aggression. Snav's going on mid. This might be the worst time for it, actually. That nade goes down, but there are players on either side, and they're going to need to be ready to deal with every single one of them. Already Freakazoid having been found, fallen. Now Underpass players actually seceding from that position, no longer opting to go for it in that area. It's going to be quite the box they've been put in right now, though, and there's, I think Cooper actually holding for them outside of spawn.
Does Snav just post here? I mean, he knows somebody was coming back. Oh, and that smoke's going to tell you everything. Snav, if he peeks off the right time, this could be huge, but he holds his nerve and holds underpass instead. Bomb falls, the player's running him down from the other end of top mid. Snav should have no trouble. Like a knife through butter, he slices through every Mythic player. And I just talked about this. A whole extra layer of problems when Badass throws a little more aggression in the mix. Team Mythic weren't ready for that. It's been more reserved from Badass.
That's going to be a little bit of a shocker for sure. Cooper's AK-47 not even getting a dang chance to do anything in that round of substance. He gets swung on by Dare, who's absolutely feeling himself, having been fed by the rest of his teammates. His stomach was not yet full, but eventually he'll be satiated, and we go 3 rounds to the lead. Badass within 1 of at least claiming a tie at the end of the half now, and that's something I actually only just recently realized, that you can tie at the end of a half. I don't know why I never put 2 and 2 together, but I think that's definitely interesting now as a possibility, having that never been the case before. I think that'll actually be interesting for maps like Inferno and Mirage that were at one point or another pretty 50-50, right? A lot of these different maps that might sway by one round the one way or the other now have the possibility of literally being like 51-49, 50.5, 45, or 49.5, which is insane.
Remember, I said earlier, Mythic, the only success they've really had has been out A, so
Here we
it
go.
ain't broke, why fix it? Out they go with smokes and flashes to support, and well, the counter utility is actually pretty good. Nobody spotted, still sticking in the firebox. Frankie refuses to die without them swinging into him. Playing his life to a perfect team. Now he peeks out at the right time. Trades go 2 for 2, and how things look far better than what I had anticipated. With House starting to run low and the bomb going down, with utility draining for Badass, opportunities are running out. That's a big kill to find, though. Doubling up. Project 90 and Shane have just put Badass back on the map, and Mythic will never catch up.
Hell had been absolutely let loose on that A bomb site by the CTs into the retake before they'd even been spotted. They tossed out all the utility on just the right spots, forcing a fight out into the open from the player on the opposite side of the ticket booth. No other option but for him to be able to do so. And Locked in Palace, the 1-by-1 fights fall flat. Mythic do the same. Badass Gaming deserve that 6th round, and into the following rounds, we can only hope that Mythic have remotely enough utility to put forwards up against what is a monumental start to this matchup. Map pick of Mythic might we have harkened back to from from the pre-show.
This is just a way better outlook from Badass Gaming
Heck
that
yeah.
I really didn't expect coming into this. I mean, after that taste we saw of them versus Bad News Bears, this is a completely different team.
Somewhat night and day. I mean, honestly, two teams that I wouldn't say that are too far off par from one another, being Mythic and what was that two stand-in Bad News Bears team. But already, with that first pick, Project 90 looks to play around this smoke at the front of the spawn, which he has done so before, and they've got to be aware of that fact, because as they maneuver their way into the site itself, finding him might give them the opening that they desire, and it will. It's Truck Lever to put him down, and CT spawn looking clean, clear for the taking. One flash from Cooper could change the game, but one kill from Frankie could deny them for the chance of a bomb plant.
An inch
Where
off
was
the
bomb?
mark, and
What?
now Mythic, I think it was back in spawn. Big mistake, though, regardless. And Bomb left to pick up the pieces, gets the plant down, but takes a hefty chunk in the process of doing so. They've got a post-plant angle. They're in jungle, so at least there's potential there. But this crossfire has got to do everything for them. And I love that Dare refuses to make the first move. Instead, they swing from CT and get the info on Cooper. However, two players fall instantly, and now Dare's playing maybe rendered rather useless. 1v2 for Hate, and now it's time for him to step up. Quiet all game, and a smoke goes on the bomb. Wants this fight before Shane gets on it. He hasn't hit anyhow. He's spamming inside of it. He gives away the angle, but so does Shane. Besides the smoke, he goes back.
Wait,
the right angle. Shane! No way you get away with this! Another round stolen by Badass Gaming. Mythic, they can't catch a break.
That's heartbreak from Hate. You felt like he had that one every day of the week. I even said it, Caster's Curse. I absolutely am flabbergasted at that individual moment. Shane doing everything he can to actually bait out the fight, but already on the move towards stairs. Hate only needed to spot him out, firing off a couple of shots to be able to feel like he was in the clear, which he was, theoretically speaking, but literally speaking, he was anything but. That round jeopardized, half lead taken by Badass, and for good reason, as they all, from across the board, look like they've come in with their moments of impact. The same can't exactly be said from top to bottom on Team Mythic, but Dare actually maybe somehow negating that mid-window smoke. I think they dropped the nade into it and then dropped another nade into it after the fact. Genius from them that is going to be the case, but now a chance for at least a bomb plant to play forwards in the next couple of rounds with some more cash.
They're going to give it a run for their money again. Flash last round was an inch off the mark from it being a changing kill. Oh, great on the second, but Flom can't land the spray. And now Truck Lever has it all to do, and he won't come close. Or rather, no, Freakazoid, I'm sorry. But Truck Lever still has a big task at hand with Frankie coming with decent HP. Maybe there's a world, but you'll need a lot to go your way. He can't get the spray transfer, man. It's just... I kind of want to play CS2 for that, because in CSGO, you kind of fancy Flom and Truck Lever in both of those sprays.
Yeah.
But it's just so different in this game.
That would have been so massive if he had found that third kill, because Dare was 10 HP. He was the last player in that clutch with the AWP already so far back, unable to trade after he had found it if he had. That would have been a really, really well-adjusted clutch if he had made that one at work. The first two, clean enough. The third would have been clean as you like, and the fourth wouldn't have even had to have come through. The clutch would have been enough, but even still extending their lead, 6 to the good, and no response effectively now as Cooper finally gets that big green, that EWP to be able to answer back potentially. So far, not so good with the rifles. Now, maybe a tide turner to come through as that window smoke has not been dissipated by any utility. They've got their chance to maybe make some space, to maybe make something of this opportunity given to them, and maybe a lapse in judgment from Badass. But what is Dare doing? Where is Dare? I can't tell. Dare I ask? Dare I say he might not have the opportunity that he wanted?
It was that like nade lineup from the bench and window that blows open the smoke like perfectly. That's what he did. He held out the HE. He stood on the spot, and they're gonna do it again. This time, maybe conditioning that they don't ever peek off of it, but blowing it open. Dare sees nothing, and the timing could not be better. Cooper he's posted up with the op on Cat. They don't know about it. Truck Lever sneaks up con. Nobody in jungle to stop him. And already, if you're Mythic, you're set up real nice for this. If you can get the bomb down, it'll be the best post plant we've seen yet from them.
Yeah, Badass, we're scrambling through the backside of spawn, but eventually Frankie finds his footing. But they get that bomb down. I'd say it's still not yet over entirely. They're going to need to get a pick back, and Cooper's AWP is going to have to be a big part of it, considering he's all the way from Cat. Wait a minute, is the bomb... Oh, there's 4 alive. Is the bomb planted for him? This could be huge.
This could be. And I think Freakazoid's gone back into jungle where Truck Lover just fell. This is where problems really start to arise. Cooper posted, calling for the distraction. However, everybody from Mythic is split up, so you're going to have to see individuals win duels, and you're going to have to see it quick. Palace, but Cooper is doing everything. He's tapping the bomb, but not on it. Spotting both Hate. This time the spray shouldn't be missed, and without a kick, Rocket is lost in the sauce. Finally, Mythic get the better of one of these post plants.
You hear that? That's the new 10-second bomb timer.
Is that true?
Yeah, did you hear it?
When did they update that?
Today.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Finally, they fixed it.
I see here. Okay, I have an argument to have with you, and I want to see which side you take. Okay, so Valorant recently updated their smokes. Are you aware of this?
God. No.
Okay, so what they did was now when the smokes are about to fade, there's a little like a little animation towards the end of it that lets you know that it's like 1.5 seconds or something away from fading.
Yeah.
A lot of people were complaining that that lowers the skill ceiling considerably. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think that the bomb 10-second timer being like that is good.
I think the 10-second timer being like that is good, just because before, I mean, 10-second timers were always a thing, but they just didn't
It was the music.
Work.
It was the music that was the thing, though.
But still.
Yeah.
Because it's, I guess it's kind of just like, I don't know. We'll go into it. Just halftime. Won't chat people's ears off about it. However, Mythic have changed it up a little bit now. Instead of just going all out at A, they've had Flom linger through underpass. So far, nobody's stopped him nor Freakazoid. And with the extra assistance of, I believe, Cooper, there should be a decent chance they can manifest something in this round. Again, Cat's left open. We haven't seen this explored too much, but nobody's had a trade Freakazoid, so Frankie may have a field day. On the off leg shot. Now what you're looking for, and now the rifle gets 2.5. A big pickup from Frankie. Even though he falls on Cat, that's still just such a massive play. And they're stuck going out B now. There's no transition back to A. With the time running as low as it is, with the investments you've made, and with the space you've gathered, going to A is a desperate attempt that feels like it won't pay off. Project, he's just full cleared ramp too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back to the sandwich makes for Mythic to make the next move.
Yeah, it might not pay off, but it just might if they get a little bit too antsy for that peak. Bro, no, USP, no kill, that can't happen. 2v2, the bomb to be planted. Truck Lover with the deagle and Hate with no HP on him. This is still far from a realistic round from Mythic, but even so, that might be the blunder to give them their chance. Not connecting onto the first, and the flashbang stalling them out from even longer, and a second to do the same. Hate playing the time, playing his angle, and playing off the hope and the prayer that his teammate can do something for him. His Truck Lover does take his shots off now. Hate on a tight angle will be figured out, and Shane can do nothing other than watch his teammate find the final frag as Hate's onto the floor, the bomb defused, and a great lead at the very end of this half now for Badass.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
We run it back. We go again. The HUD's still not entirely fixed, but not to any issue of our production. It's instead an in-game issue that cannot be resolved at this point in time. We'll hope to have that one squared away for the second. But in the meantime, we've got Badass up by 6 and flooding up through mid, similar to the way that the side of Mythic did. But instead of splitting into A, it's B. Our final point of contact will come.
And Frankie, only a dink to speak of. His teammates will have to do the rest of the work. They've already exploded out of the site. It seems for now, Badass are keeping things even, 1 for 1 in every step of the way.
Oh!
But eventually that's going to turn back against them. Bomb dropped in bench. That's the one player you couldn't afford to lose. Now Dare and his teammate Shane have to step up, which he's made the task doable for Shane, but stuck in the apartments, it feels nigh impossible. A dink would put down Flom, but you'll have to hit one insane shot as Flom goes back into the site. And little does Shane know, he's crept right behind him.
That round from Flom was so nice, kicking things off with a swift little headshot there. And even the movement from the player at the bench trying to bait out a shot to get the information as to how far up he had pushed only gets him clipped. And that's going to be a massive win for them now, especially considering the round gap and the economy state. Now we've got everything in their back pocket. No bomb plant for Badass Gaming. And a little bit of wiggle room to bring their way back, forcing a tactical timeout out of the adversary. Wonder what you could
Early
possibly
on,
be talking
too.
about. Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, I probably would have taken
thought
that maybe
pistol
next
would be
round.
good. Maybe they're thinking about whether they want to buy or not without a bomb plant.
Sure.
Because they got a couple of kills. You could see Shane on like a Mac 10.
Nah, surely. Would I? No. Am I a pro? Also no. I am, however, qualified for collegiate playoffs. They could. I don't know if that's what the doctor would have ordered. He probably would have told them to stay in bed for an extra round, but yeah, with the time going down as low as it is and them only having invested in a couple of deagles, they just want to stay above a certain amount. Maybe try to go for a bomb plan here. A singular flashbang could be fruitful, but nope. Not even that. You get that $1,900 loss, and that'll be just the threshold that they require to get a couple of Galils and a couple of AKs.
Hamas Lover's eating good, baby. Good stuff. Truck Lover. He's not going to let this round fall too quickly. And Badass Gaming spread their resources out, maybe looking for leverage any direction they can find it. But this is where you see the discipline of Mythic, where Cooper, he doesn't commit to that fight. He just jiggles it, gets the info, falls away, and waits for the flash. It's by the books.
It's absolutely fundamentally sound, Anthran, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Super, super fundamentally sound. And right now, speaking of FAMAS lovers, one such is Truck Lover, who's continued his way into this round, not looking to fade away from his position. Instead, looking to back it away and get a little bit more than maybe Badass Gaming had a hope for us. It's an ace to finish it all off. And a feel-good one at that as he's 17 and 12, nearing that 26 bomb. Or would it be the 25 bomb? Right.
Who cares? Who cares?
No, wait, 25, 20, 24 bomb? Because you know how there's 30 rounds in reg in the old game?
I guess.
The equivalent would be 24, right? Or are we sticking with 30? Is 30 still the bar minimum for that to be a thing? I guess Valorant calls it a 30 bomb too when they hit it, so I guess we have to kind of stick to that, right? If we're going to copy everything else about it. Anyway.
I think the terms will evolve as time goes on.
Currently sticking it with this A-bomb site. Flash into the ramp. Truck Lover only spotting the shoulder of one. His teammate will go down, and that FAMAS will not be nearly as effective as it was in the last round.
That was rough. That was rough. And now the A site's just wide open. I'm surprised Badass Gaming don't go out with that. Usually you get those 2 kills, buddy system. There's not going to be much to stop you. But now you've got the rotations in from Freak and Cooper alike. However, Brothers in Arms aren't enough to fend off the site, and neither is the lone one. Flom in a 1v3, still inching his way up connector, contemplating going in for this. But now with his angle given away, it feels less and less likely through the smoke, spotted by Shane. And now you may just want to call this one a day. Still sitting by in connector. Look, I'll give him respect for still looking for these kills, but kind of feels like you're just throwing the gun to the wind.
Now 1A, 1S is going to be enough for them to buy if the HUD isn't wrong about the money. And it's going to be pretty nice. They've stacked themselves up some extra bread. The T's can't really afford to be going hunting, so Instead, they'll exit through that CT spawn. The bomb radius being a little bit farther than it was in that previous iteration of the game now has them a little bit more worried to play from spawn. I think they should be fine. If Shane was in the other corner, he would have taken significantly more damage. And I think if he didn't have any armor at all, you die from that position now on a triple plant. I'm sorry, with armor, you die from a triple plant. So that's pretty crazy. That's one of the big. Okay. That's one of the biggest things I've had to adjust with in this game personally, is the fact that the bomb radiuses are so much bigger.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you saw the Davey take on MR12. I kind of feel the same way about bomb radius.
Is that regarding saving?
Yeah. About how we talked about how it's going to shorten games, but it's not going to fix the saving issue.
No, I don't.
I kind of feel the same way about the bomb radius.
Actually, I think it'll probably cause people to save more, but sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Commitment from Flom seems a little unlike him. And big opening pick that's just been costed of Team Mythic. Still sticking around mid. You don't see them giving it up for free. 2 in con, including Freakazoid, but now forced forward via the Molotov. Freak takes the fight on his own terms and comes away the victor. So back to even stead.
Cooper posted. Waiting patiently, not taking the first shot. The bait caused by Dare onto the reface, though. He thinks he's better off for it, not to be. He'll lose his life and lose what was once a fruitful man advantage. Now left swimming in their own juices in a pool of a 50-second timer to decide where they want to end up with significant utility to be able to crack open one of these 2 bomb sites. Have to get a step in, as there's only a single man defending that A bomb site in somewhat of a precarious position of hate. But you shouldn't be too worried about this one, because they've actually decided to body up across different points of the map, hoping that one of the 2 parties will be able to crock something. It's actually maybe a fake towards A, try to get the bomb some space to work with and then a late lurk, but I don't really know how I favor that if he commits too far out. And Truck Lover already being here makes things all the more difficult as he finds them both. Project 90, it was a good attempt, a valiant effort to get your team something to play with and play for, but there's 10 seconds and you're running away to nothing but bullets in the back.
That's a good round for Mythic, even after the shortcomings of the opening in that round, but you do not want to be giving that over every one of these rifles. Badass Gaming, they don't get a bomb plant, though, so they're still in a very awkward spot. Snav's already bought, too, interestingly enough, so I think this will be a half from Badass Gaming. Not a round that Team Mythic should be too worried about, with the couple of AKs thrown to the mix, upgraded pistols, but you also shouldn't be sleeping on them. Cooper with the op. Finally, maybe a little more action from him, at least on the CT side.
Very quick pace in through mid, not only for the T side, but for Freakazoid after the bottom side of connector smoke as well. Met with nothing but hellfire from the other left figure with a gun picked up, not going to be any more useful than he was a moment ago, as everything seems to fall right back into place for Mythic, but an overextension from Flom, perhaps. They got to guard these guns is what they're most worried about, but surely not a Glock, surely not. Frankie, low HP, a Deagle, still the weapon that you would want at this range to be able to take out another head, but Cooper maintaining pace and keeping things under control, as well as keeping things back in this comeback. Anthran, I gotta say, the Glock is getting a lot more kills in a lot of these rounds than I've ever seen in CSGO in my life. I've seen like almost full Glock rounds just get like 3 kills more often than ever before. It's that Pika's advantage. There's
also a reason behind that, though, right? I think it's not even just that. Pika's advantage played a big role, but you got to think about it, right? Spraying in this game is just universally worse. Pika's advantage is universally better, and guns like the Glock get better because of it. So you add those together, and it makes it hard to fully defend on some of these anti-ecos, because normally those pistols are going to be running and gunning. You're not going to hit an instant headshot. You're likely spraying. When the spray is worse, it makes it harder to get the kill.
Or maybe you just stink at spraying in CS2. You ever think of that?
You didn't have to say
that. Somebody had to say it.
I was salty. I was a sprayer.
Somebody had to say. I was not. So my first bullet accuracy is very happy most of the time. Either way, utility looking a little bit dry. That's not going to be a good look for them right now. Badass Gaming haven't had this gap closed as far as it is. It's starting to close down upon them. Once a couple of these rounds that looked so very convincing in comparison to what we've seen in the last couple. Mythic now They got their chance to get themselves rolling. Cooper finally finding himself at a positive scoreline, and the AWP is primarily due in props to that, as right now he might have to do a little bit more at the range game. If they make their way up through Con, he's going to be, I believe, posted from CT spawn, finding his one on the entranceway from the ramp. Now he's got a little bit more on his plate. His teammate kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, not able to do anything in his own right. Now left to a retake 4v4. Don't let the HUD fool you.
But not for long. Blom through the smoke is a big asset to lose, and down goes Cooper. So it's Truck Lover pretty much alone. As Freak is going to see the last hope for a teammate to show up. But still not unthinkable if he finds the seconds. However, Shane was still at a very tricky angle to clear, so not a lot of worry in the camp of Badass Gaming. And only 2 away from taking Mythic's pick. Still looking promising.
This is going to be 12. Almost undoubtedly. If they manage to pull this one out, Mythic, then they win the game, to be completely honest with you, because there is nothing in their pockets to make this one an across-the-board worthwhile round. Even missing the window is going to be a little bit of salt rubbed into the wound there for Cooper. Only the MP9, though. Not going to be taking the fight at range instead, hoping that they're going to make their way closer to him for a later fight to ensue, but reading the situation well, Badass know what they're playing up against. They are completely cognizant of the reality ahead of them that Team Mythic are in the slums. They've got nothing. And right now, their guessing game is going to be as good as any because there's been nothing shown by the hand of Mythic as of yet.
This is a slow one. Badass. It feels uncharacteristic for them to operate this slowly, and it almost gets him at least the one. So far, just damage on Cooper, who still sticks around the window. Again, credit where it's due, doesn't hold or doesn't give up the angle, but maybe they should have. Sunk cost fallacy blinds them into losing member out mid. That combining with Cooper's low health, it's a pretty bad outlook to the start of this round, and even extra info on players of Catwalk. Feels like Badass are getting everything to go their way right now.
Yes.
Sneaking their way through. Khan is there. They have no words. They're going to hit and B, and there's likely nothing they could do.
Yeah, that is the call to make, isn't it? And they know the last player was over towards A a moment ago, so that's just that final B player, the final piece to the puzzle. And Truck Lover, what more can you do, my friend? Everything has just been swept out from beneath you. Your money is, no, my lord, near zero, but he's still continuing to put on a show with this Deagle. Hold on now!
Oh my god!
What is happening? Picking up the AK-47, a better weapon than the previous, and he's taking no damage. He has armor, he has a kit, and he has 3 kills to his name, looking to complete the ace to make it happen. Spots the 4th, knows the time is of the essence, and he's got to deal with one of the 2 of them. He's got to make a choice, and time continues to tick with 20, now down to 15, in range. Frankie's gonna put him down, but goddamn, Anthran, if you didn't give him a good run for their money.
Dude, that was crazy, and it's just so unfortunate they can't follow up with it. Truck Lover, look at him right now, and it kind of goes to show that Mythic needs more power behind these players. Truck Lover has 24 kills. He is topping the server by 3. The closest nearby on his team is Cooper at 13. It's silent from most of these Team Mythic members, and it's costing them a lot of big rounds.
Could cost them the game, even the map at the very least. There's still one more at very minimum to come. That's Ancient, the pick of Badass Gaming into the following. So if there's anything good to say in the regard of Mythic, it's that they can continue to get their CT ball rolling into the next more likely than not. That's where they'd like to end up.
Okay, that's the bomb spotted. You can't fall here, snav. Hangs on, but even he's being flanked from Palace, so Flom is definitely going to walk out after hearing these footsteps start to sprint away. There is nothing you can do about it. Keep your wits about you, son. Because that's a round-losing pick. Look at all the leeway and leverage they're getting at Catwalk, but it's meaningless because the bomb's down in spawn, but Flom goes forward. Picks up the AK, and it seems Shane is very weary of his offensive angle, now soon to be joined up with by Hate. At least it's a 2-man pain train in spawn. Looks like Team Mythic are bringing all of the force they possibly can through apps. Oh my lord, they won't even need Cooper. Plum Spray gets caught, and now Project 90 won't even come close. Cooper steps up with the dig, and Mythic stay alive.
All right, okay. Still only 4 out. It's no biggie. It's not that crazy. This one's going to be a little bit of a gimme. Mythic now just have to take this one round by round. Slow and steady wins the race. And at this stage in the game, I think that the pace can no longer really be set by Mythic after a round win like that, which, albeit does grant them their chance at a win. It's not really going to be the same story with these M4s and AKs. That's something you're going to have to take into consideration moving forwards, that now you have to let the opponent play into your hand, because overextending in one moment might mean everything on the line.
Oh, badass. This is a very interesting way to go about things. I believe there's 3 at A, so likelihood of this going well is low. Mythic are just waiting for these smokes to fade. Same with badass. As soon as this push comes through, you're going to be met by HEs, nades, flashes, the whole 9 yards. Or maybe not. Cooper flashing back into mid instead, spotting the shoulder of an aggressive team. Molly cuts them off, and he sprays down 3. No real worries.
Oh.
Mythic's camp.
Snav shoots his
They're on
teammate.
track for a flawless finish. Oh, well, maybe not 3 for Cooper, but might as well. Give him the credit.
If only Snav said mine. I will get my one. It seems that he did, but not the right one. Not going to be the worst thing in the world, though, as they still have at least another gun round to follow this one, should they not be able to win out now and here. Mythic keeping that pressure on today is going to be pretty nice, and keeping the individuals still up in form at that same area of the map is going to be all important, seeing as that's where the main rotations are coming through towards mid. The fights aren't really favoring them all too much, but they can hold their bomb sites down on their own when they do completely avoid mid, and they will be doing just such a thing in this round here with 3 towards B. No, hold on, they're flying up cat and mid right now. They're at the bottom of con. They're fighting a duel with Freak away at the top side of the connector, and Cooper, try as you may, you're going to need your teammate to do a little bit more than even that, and he's going to be unable to find anything more than his, as that's going to be everything falling into place by the end of this one for Badass Gaming, with only truck left. Position made known, and Project 90 decimates him at the end of it.
And that's what I'm talking about, man. Badass Gaming at every step of the way just felt in control of that game. Pace-wise and aim-wise, right? Beyond Truck Lover 86, there was pretty much no one consistently stepping up or Mythic. So you look at every end of the map, and so long as it's not Truck Lover on the other end of the...